Y'all heard what Todd said about black folks after being pardoned by Trump? Listen.
This is a long shot because so many people are told no. And being in the prison system, anyone that says that it's a fair shake, it's not. Because I dealt with young African American males in the prison that I was in that were not treated the same. They were denied programming. They were denied access to certain things. I was not denied that, but we know why I wasn't denied that. And so I think that is a much bigger picture that we all as a society as a whole need to look at, that we are one. And whether you're Republican, Democrat, or whatever, at the end of the day, when you're in that hospital, you don't care if it's a Democrat treating you or a Republican. Now, some of you may, but I want whoever's going to be the best.
This does not warrant an invite to the cookout. Because like my granny and them always said, you're not finna get rewarded for doing some shit you supposed to do. He supposed to acknowledge the inequalities in the system. Just think about it. How many folks look like us you think locked up for the same exact thing he was, but they waiting on commissary and a release date? We only represent about 14% of the general population. Our community represents 38% of the federal prison population. They both got pardoned, and I hope that when they rubbing shoulders with them Trump supporters, they're able to keep in mind that no matter how much them folks engaged in color blindness, they seen the racial inequality for themselves. But maggots always love to ask, can you name anything that I can do as a white person that you can't do as a black person? Shit, ask Todd. I'm gonna start saying that for now on. Education is elevation.
Todd Chrisley don't get no cookie from me. I'm out here talking about how black men are treated unfairly in the prison system. Is water wet? Tell me something we don't know. He got off scot-free for stealing $30 million while black people are sitting in prison for dime bags. It's statistically proven that black people are getting larger, harsher sentences. They commit the same crime as non-black people. He gets off on Fed charges all because he's a celebrity? Ever since the 13th Amendment, the federal government has been trying to find ways to bring back slavery. And once they realized they could do that through mass incarceration, people have been silent about it. But when we come on here and talk about it, we're playing the victim or we're throwing a pity party. Ever since that press conference has come out, everyone's like, oh, he did something wrong, but he has a good heart. And a black man steal $30 million and Joe Biden free them. We wouldn't hear the end of it. But he gets off all because he tells jokes on a reality TV show? Make it make sense, people. Not to mention he gets freed the exact same week. They make the largest cuts to Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps. Instead of the news covering that, they're covering a comedian getting freed from jail. All because he's funny and thank you.
Friend, pick up the phone. So they thought that Todd Chrisley was going to go to this press conference and basically say, you know what? Thank you, President Trump. Thank you so much for granting me the opportunity. Oh, great taco man. Oh, yes. Todd Chrisley said, look, I understand that I have privilege. He said, I understand that a lot of people get told no, but I got told yes. He said it was the same way when I was locked up with men that were a different shade of color than I was, get denied basic access to programs and things like that simply because they were black. He said, and I know why I was privileged. I understand that, but it's time America understands it as well. He's like, and the people in charge need to follow suit. I bet you Savannah was like, oh my goodness, we did not practice this, daddy. This is going to be interesting.
You know, sometimes the most unexpected voices echo the loudest truths. Todd Chrisley, a white, wealthy reality TV star, just came home from prison. And instead of silence or self-pity, he came back with something powerful to say. He used his platform to talk about something many would rather ignore: the racial equality embedded deep within the American prison system. And let's be clear, this isn't a black man crying out about injustice. This is a white man acknowledging what he saw with his own eyes. Todd admitted that African American inmates were denied access to programs that he, as a white man, could use. That right there, that's not just observation. That's a confession, a reckoning, a spotlight on a truth we've known but so many deny. When someone with privilege decides to tell the truth, we ought to listen, because it's not just a black issue, it's an American issue. And today we are going to unpack what it means when someone from the other side says, yes, the system is broken, and yes, it's racist. Let's break it down. Prison is supposed to be a place of rehabilitation, a place where people pay their debts and hopefully come out better than the way they went. But what Todd Chrisley witnessed says otherwise, that what you get inside depends on what color you are. He said African American inmates were denied access to certain programs that could change lives and provide hope. These are not just minor privileges. We are talking about educational opportunities, therapy sessions, vocational training, resources that make or break a person's future. And Todd said he didn't have the same issue. Why is that? Why should race dictate opportunity even behind bars? It's not just about programs. Another former inmate named TY went on national TV and said what we already feared. You see how different races are being treated. In other words, the inequality isn't subtle, it's visible, it's constant, and it's real. These aren't political statements. These are lived experiences. These are human beings testifying to the racial hierarchy alive and well in the so-called correctional system. And yet, so many people still ask, where is the proof? Well, here it is. When white men like Todd Chrisley come back from prison and say it's not fair in there, we better stop and listen.
Now, Todd get on national TV and said he see in the prison cell how different race is being treated. He sees that. So if y'all got family members or whoever independent, we need to be united as one, because the Republican and Democrats, everybody should need to be as one. Because when you're sick or on that deathbed or in the hospital, you ain't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat serving you. You just want to get healthy and well. But yeah, the prison, them people be saying how they be getting treated different. It's true. Our family, whoever else in there, they don't be lying. They be telling the truth. But hey, to each his own. Hope the justice system can do better. Can do better, because it can be better. But they got to choose to want it. But everybody, when you in that prison cell, you're not treated fair. And Todd, he says he's a witness to it. He sees the difference. So yeah, we need to make America great again. We stand united as one. Yeah, that's my message.
So Todd Chrisley did his first presser today since his release from the prison in Pensacola, Florida. And what he had to say was pretty profound. He said there were, 317 prisoners shouting, don't forget us, as he left. And he said he has an obligation not to forget them. He said he witnessed firsthand the systemic issues, like some of the African-American men in the prison being denied programs and benefits that others were allowed to have. And I truly hope that, Todd Chrisley can use this as a ministry, because I don't feel like God puts us through things that, aren't meant to forge us and to grow our testimony. He also said that he wasn't guilty, but that he had to go along and be nice with the justice system, because otherwise they would have given him a more harsh sentence. And then someone in the crowd asked him if he had any remorse for what he had done, and he said, "You must be from CNN." So I hope that this opens up a huge ministry for him to be able to help the prisons, because there's a huge issue all over this country.
And you really got people out here talking about that's not true. Everybody in prison get treated the same. No, they don't. He just told you. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments.
Let's talk about why this matters, because it's bigger than Todd Chrisley, and it's certainly bigger than one person. This is about a system that mirrors the worst parts of our history right now in 2025. When a white man can access a program in prison and a black man can't, that's not just bias, that's structured inequality. It's not accidental, it's embedded, it's engineered. Prison should be the great equalizer, but instead it reflects all this injustice we see outside those walls, except with higher stakes. Because in prison, you don't get a second opinion. You don't get public defenders pushing for equal rights. You either survive or you don't. You either get help or you rot. What Todd Chrisley did was use his privilege to tell the truth. Most people with his status come out of prison trying to clean up their image, spin the narrative, and keep quiet. But he didn't. He said, "I saw the black men getting denied help that I was allowed to get, and it's wrong. And I do applaud that, not because it makes him a hero, but because it makes him a witness to the truth so many deny. We need more of that, more people using their voices, their platforms, their status, not to protect themselves, but to protect the truth. Here's the part that hurts. This unequal treatment is not new. Black men and women have been saying it for decades. We've had reports, we've had investigations, but still, when a black man says it, people question it. When a white man says it, suddenly it's real. That dynamic, that is the very essence of the problem. So let's not just be moved by Todd Chrisley words. Let's demand answers. Let's push for policy. Let's center prison reform on equality, not just efficiency. We need transparency in how programs are allocated. We need audits that reveal the racial breakdown of access. We need accountability for the wardens and staff who turn inequality into daily practice. And most of all, we need unity. As one of these sources said, Republican or Democrat, everybody need to be as one. Because racial injustice in prison doesn't care about party lines, it doesn't ask how you vote, it only sees the color of your skin. To every person watching this, who's ever felt like their voice didn't matter, your truth is powerful. To every former inmate who's seen the ugliness of the system firsthand, your story matters. And to people like Todd Chrisley who choose to use their privilege to amplify the truth, thank you. But we need more witnesses, more fighters, more honesty, because change doesn't come when we whisper, it comes when we shout. Anyway, guys, drop a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are about this story. Also, remember to subscribe, like, and share as well. And until next time, bye-bye.